Just let me know what resonates most with you and we can explore it more deeply.
Tell me more about this visualization stuff, how it works, who created that, and what's the history of visualization, how it works.
Visualization is a really interesting part of meditation, where you use your mind to imagine a peaceful scene or a positive outcome. It's a technique that's been around for a very long time, and it doesn't really have a single inventor. It's just been part of various meditative and spiritual traditions for centuries. It works by giving your mind a gentle focus, helping you step away from stress and toward a more calming, positive mental space.
Why stress is given so much of importance when people know that it affects the physical and mental health?
Stress gets a lot of attention because it really does have a huge impact on both our mental and physical health. In small doses, some stress can actually be motivating, and when it becomes chronic, it affects everything from your mood to your immune system. That's why it's so important to pay attention to it and find ways to manage it.
Uh, in medical terms, there's a cell named after stress. What is that? Cortisol, something like that? What is the name of the cell that that boosts stress?
So, the cell we're thinking of isn't actually named after stress itself, but it's related to the hormone cortisol, which is often called the stress hormone. And these hormones are primarily produced by cells in the zona fasciculata of your adrenal cortex. Those cells are sometimes referred to as clear cells because of their appearance. So while there isn't a cell named after stress, these adrenal cortex cells play a key role in producing the hormone associated with our stress response. Get it, Jane?
Um,
If you have any more questions about it, or if you want to explore anything else, let me know.
so,
Absolutely. We'll just keep it fun and light. If there's anything you're curious about, we'll just laugh our way through it together and explore it as deeply as you like.
of course, so tell me more about this depression. Why, how it occurs? What's the reason behind it?
Absolutely. Let's dive into that. So, depression is a really complex condition and it can come from a lot of different factors. There's often a mix of biological elements like brain chemistry and genetics, as well as environmental factors like stress or life events. So, it's really a combination of these things that can lead to depression. If you want to go even deeper, just let me know.
Yes, I want to dig deeper into this because it's a very common problem that people are going through, especially in this age and time.
Absolutely. It's a hugely important topic and it definitely deserves a deeper look. So let's unpack it a bit more. Depression does show up frequently in modern life and it can be influenced by social pressures, economic stresses, and sometimes even just the pace of our digital world. Another layer to this is that our brains are wired in complex ways, so things like chronic stress can change the way our brain functions over time. And of course, there's always more to explore in terms of how we can support each other and ourselves. If you want to keep going deeper, just say the word.
What is chronic stress?
Chronic stress is basically a long-term state of stress that doesn't really go away for a while. It's like when we're dealing with continuous pressures, maybe some work, relationships, or just life events, and your body doesn't get a chance to fully relax. Over time, it can have effects on your mental and physical health. Let's explore it a bit more if you like. Chronic stress is basically when someone faces stresses over a long period of time without much relief. So if you want to keep going deeper, just say the word and we can explore it further.
How much rest time or relief time does one need, let's say in a day, to recharge their batteries, so to say, to work 100% efficiently the next day?
So generally speaking, a good rule of thumb is that most adults do best with around 7 to 9 hours of sleep each night. And beyond sleep, it's also helpful to have a little breaks throughout the day. So things like stepping away for a few minutes, taking a walk, or just doing something relaxing can really help you recharge. Let's dig into it more if you like.
The problem is that 7 to 9 hours of sleep is mandatory by the medical world. But the thing is that with the rotational shifts that we have and the kind of lifestyle that now people have evolved into, uh, you waking up late, sleeping late, and rotational shifts, how one should manage that and how is it affecting, and at what time do actually one needs to sleep during the 24 hours of the day?
That's a great question, and the timing of sleep can definitely vary from person to person, especially if you have rotational shifts or irregular schedules. Generally, the key is to find a consistent window that works for your body and can stick with it as much as possible. If you'd like, we can dig into more details on that.
Yes, of course.
Absolutely. So let's dive in a bit more. For people with rotational shifts, it's really about creating a stable routine. It's your schedule, even if that routine shifts over the week. The key of consistency. So if you sleep during the day sometimes and at night other times, try to make the sleep environment as restful as possible. Dark, quiet, and comfy. Or if give yourself a little wind down time before you sleep, no matter what time of day that is. If you're ready, we can keep going and explore more tips.
As a companion, I learn about you and help. So, in summary, it's all about finding that rhythm that works for you and making your sleep environment comfortable, no matter when you're catching those Z's. Let me know if there's anything else you'd like to explore.
Why dark environment is necessary for sleep?
Well, having a dark environment is important because it helps signal to your brain that it's time to wind down and produce melatonin, which is the hormone that makes you feel sleepy. So the darker the room, the easier it is for your body to slip into that restful state. If you have more questions, just let me know.
So with this day and technology that we have today, people are more into mobile phones, tablets. Um, they use before sleeping. How did this habit got into their lifestyle and how they can get rid of it?
Yeah, so that's a really interesting point. The habit of using screens before bed really crept in with how available and engaging our devices are. I can definitely share some tips on how to cut down on that screen time before bed if you'd like.
Yeah, yeah, sure. Share me the tips, like 10 of them.
Absolutely, I'd be happy to. Let's dive into some tips to ease away from screens before bed. Set a tech curfew. Choose a time each night, like 30 minutes before bed, to put your devices away. Create a charging station. Leave your phone or tablet to charge outside your bedroom so it's out of reach. Use night mode. If you must use a device, switch it to a night mode or blue light filter to reduce the impact on your sleep. 4, replace with a book. Try reading a physical book or listening to an audiobook instead of scrolling. 5, relaxing activities. Introduce a calming activity like gentle stretching, meditation, or writing in a journal to unwind. 6, set a bedtime routine. Develop a consistent bedtime routine that you look forward to, which makes it easier to ditch the screens. 7, use an alarm clock. Instead of using your phone as an alarm, try a traditional alarm clock to reduce the temptation to check notifications. 8, turn off notifications. Silence or turn off notifications at night to avoid the urge to glance at your phone. 9, communicate boundaries. Let friends or family know that you're off devices after a certain hour, so you're not expecting messages. And 10, reward yourself. Celebrate your progress with a small reward for sticking to your new routine. Let me know if any of these sound good to you or if you want to dive deeper into any of them.
You talked about night mode. What is that and how it impacts the sleep cycle?
Night mode, also known as a blue light filter, is a setting on smartphones that essentially lowers the amount of blue light emitted by your screen. It shifts your display's colors toward warmer tones like amber or orange. The idea here is that blue light can sometimes disrupt your body's production of melatonin, which is the hormone that helps regulate your sleep cycle. In practice, using night mode can reduce the amount of blue light exposure you get in the evening, which may help signal your brain that it's time to wind down. While the effectiveness can vary from person to person and other factors like screen brightness still play a role, it's generally a helpful way to reduce the impact of screens on your sleep and make it a bit easier to drift off.
What is melatonin?
Melatonin is a hormone that your body naturally produces to help regulate your sleep-wake cycle. Think of it as your body's way of letting you know that it's time to rest. When it gets dark, your brain releases more melatonin, which makes you feel sleepy. If you have any more questions about it, feel free to ask.
How can I keep melatonin in a healthy condition that how can I keep it in healthy condition?
Absolutely. You can keep your melatonin levels healthy by maintaining a consistent sleep schedule, dimming the lights in the evening, and avoiding screens before bedtime. Let me know if you'd like to explore more tips.
So if someone has already a bad sleep cycle or have a bad sleep, can that person improve the melatonin, or is it like can it get it back to 100%, or is it like it will go to 80 or 90%?
Yeah, absolutely. You can definitely improve your melatonin levels and get your sleep cycle back on track. It's not about being stuck at 80 or 90%. Over time, with some consistent habits, you can absolutely reach a really healthy, well-regulated sleep pattern again. So, yeah, you got a good chance to get back to the 100%.